Welcome to Aromatic Chat, the podcast that introduces you to registered, clinical, and certified aromatherapists around the world. Every other week, my mom sits down with a different aromatherapist to learn about their aromatic journey and how they use essential oils in their lives and businesses. Aromatic Chat is produced by Lemon Balm Coaching, and my mom, Melissa, is your host. She is a master transformational coach and a registered aromatherapist.
Hey friends, welcome to podcast episode number 86, Aromatic Chat with Valentina Killough. Valentina is using her aromatic knowledge to expand into other plant medicine arenas and digging deeper into the ways that aromatherapy can help with stress in the busy mom's life. I am thankful that you're tuned in today to hear from this incredible aromatherapist, so let's get started.
Valentina, thank you so much for coming on to Aromatic Chat. I appreciate you taking time out of your day and sharing with us your aromatic journey.
I am delighted to be here. I'm such a fan of the podcast. I listen to it often, so I'm excited.
Oh, that's awesome. I love getting that kind of feedback. It just makes me happy to know that people are listening and just getting something out of it. What's been your favorite part of the podcast?
I really love hearing people's journeys, like how they got to aromatherapy, because like everyone's story is so different. I think that's so interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I think so too. So why don't we just go ahead and start with your journey? How did you end up being an aromatherapist?
Well, it started, I had my daughter like almost 5 years ago, and I was struggling with like really severe postpartum depression, and like nothing was helping me at that time. And then I saw like one of my mom friends started posting. She was part of like one of the MLM companies, and I saw her posting about like oils that helped her baby sleep. And I was like, ooh, what is this? Because I've always been into like natural health, but like I never paid much attention to essential oils because I'm like, oh, I don't think those do anything. And but like I ended up getting oils from her at that time. And I started diffusing, and I kept noticing how like my mood was more elevated like after I would diffuse. Um, and I became obsessed with it then because I was just so impressed by like the benefits I was getting. And that wasn't good enough for me. I'm like, I need to go deeper into this. Like, I need to understand why, because like I don't understand how this is happening, And pretty quickly, I ended up finding ACHS and enrolling to become a certified aromatherapist. And I did work with like my friend at this MLM company for a while, but then like what I was learning in my certification program, I'm like, oh, this is like very different from like all of the ways like they're promoting like how to use essential oils. And a lot of the information they were sharing like was not super accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And that really bothered me. And so I really became passionate about like educating people on like the proper and safe use of essential oils. And yeah, like they're very powerful and can have like profound benefits. But I really think like the education is like key there.
I agree. The education is key. And isn't it funny that you thought like it's essential? That's probably not a thing. They probably don't work. And yet here you are now like certified, practicing aromatherapy. It is true though that they do work, and I can kind of understand that skepticism, and hopefully people listening get it as well, that, it's a bottle. Look, it's this big. And how can one drop of that do anything?
Yeah.
Right. So in your certification, what did you learn about, just how one drop makes a difference?
Well, I did learn about how potent they are. And honestly, my favorite way to use them is through inhalation, because I am working on my undergrad degree in psychology. And so I'm very into mental health, and I like working with like essential oils for emotional benefits. And people think just inhaling something is not going to do that much. But they don't realize that like our sense of smell is connected to our limbic system, and it can really help us there. But one of the things I was learning about in my certification is like generally not that safe to like ingest oils or like do it so casually. Whereas like people at this, MLM and in the Facebook groups I was in, were all about like ingesting just like oils daily. And that was like a really big red flag for me early on. And like, I don't think we really need to be doing, taking those measures to like experience the benefits. Like inhalation is alone is enough to really have like a change.
Right.
So
Right. And I did see on your website how you are marrying aromatherapy with your psychology. And I just love that because that's, as a life coach, that's kind of what I do as well. I use the aromatherapy as an adjunct therapy treatment, to help with whatever my clients are going through. Would you be willing to share, like, how do you marry them together?
So what I do is I really do like it, like working with women. I've always struggled with having sort of like anxious thoughts. And
Mhm.
then ever since having postpartum depression, like that's definitely been an issue throughout my life. And I really like using them to uplift my mood and then calm me like during moments of anxiety. And then even I have PMDD, so that's like a severe PMS. And so, like, I do have a lot of mood issues during that time. And so, it always amazes me at how effectively, like, just using oils in the day can help ground me and balance my emotions. And so, I like sharing that with other people too. Because, like, I am a very busy mom, and it's like, it's hard to find the time in the day to like take care of yourself and address those things. Like people like to tell me all the time, like, oh, like meditate and stuff like that. I'm like,
With a
yeah, that's great.
5-year-old.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm like, but I don't have like 20 minutes to sit down and do that. And I love sharing with like other moms that aromatherapy is like you can carry the oil around with you and use it in like 1 minute. And so
Mm.
it's like you're gonna get like a quick benefit. So that's really how I like to share it the most right now.
So what is the most common problem that people come to you for? You just told us who you love to help, but like who seeks you out?
So honestly, right now, like my partner is a musician and he does like a lot of stunts and he's like always injuring himself. So he has like a lot of body pain. And so like this is like not the area I love to work in, like, but I do make him different blends for pain and like he tells everybody about it. So people will come to me asking for like support with like pain relief and making them blends for that stuff. And like that's definitely not what I love, but that's like what I get often these days.
He's a musician and does his own stunts on stage. Is that what he does?
He's just very wild on stage. His thing is like jumping off of like jumping really high and like always hurts himself. Yeah.
I'm just curious, like, what are some of your other hobbies that you might have outside of aromatherapy and psychology?
Well, so the thing that I think is funny is like I am not really like a big music person. So like I'm not super into that stuff. But outside of aromatherapy, I'm really getting into herbalism lately. And it feels so connected to me because like we use a lot of the same plants.
Mhm.
And I feel like by incorporating more herbs into my life, like I'm getting even more benefits from these plants that I already loved from using them for aromatherapy purposes. And so I started taking classes with like a local herbalist. And so like when I'm traveling with him, like I'm reading a lot of herbalism books now and things like that.
Very cool. I have found that aromatherapists are pretty nerdy. We love reading. Like, I'm always reading something. There's always
Yeah.
reading happening, learning happening. I think I'm involved in like 4 or 5 courses right now. Like, I can't just do aromatherapy, right? We're always educating, always continuing our education because there's always information to be learned. I mean, it's crazy. It's not like you just graduate and you go, I know everything I ever needed to know. Here we go.
Yeah. Exactly. And what I love is I feel like aromatherapy can be incorporated with so many other things. So yeah, I really like combining it with like my other passions too, like even psychology, like we said before.
Yeah. So how far are you along in your psychology degree?
I am almost finished now. I have 2 more semesters. I'm very excited about it.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations. Are you going to continue on and get a master's like in therapy counseling or anything like that?
Yeah, that's the plan. Because it is my long-term goal to have my own practice and to do
Beautiful.
like therapy with people and incorporating the aromatherapy with that. Mhm.
So tell us a story about how you've seen aromatherapy work. I think these stories are the absolute best because like earlier we said Oh, it's just a bottle. How could one drop help? But I remember when I was going through school and we would do our case studies, and I knew that aromatherapy worked, but to see it work was
Mhm.
really cool. So I would love to
Yeah.
hear just a story about how you've seen aromatherapy really change somebody's life.
Wow. I mean, so many things come to mind, but the most significant one lately is like my partner because he has so much pain. He has like arthritis down his spine. He's
Mm,
had a lot of injuries. Um, and he has like daily pain. And he's tried a lot of things. Like he went to a chiropractor, he's done physical therapy, he's taken medications, and none of it was like that effective for him. And he like used to not believe in aromatherapy at all. But about like a year or two ago, like I made him a blend and put it on. And I'm like, at that point, I didn't even think it was going to work because I'm like, oh, this man has tried so much. But I'm like, I might as well give it a shot. But he was like amazed. He was like, I don't feel any pain right now. And so like he's continued to use like my blend since then. That just makes me so happy because like it helps him like get through his day and enjoy life more than like he did when just having pain every day.
yeah, that's amazing. And it's true. Like, I feel like a lot of people come into complementary modalities after they've tried everything else that they can think of. I think it should be reversed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So what are you working on right now that's got you really excited?
Right now, I'm very excited. I've been doing a lot of workshops this summer. I've been doing this workshop, Stress Relief for Busy Moms, I call it. That's been really great. Just like a lot of the women that have been coming into it, like haven't used oils before at all. And it feels really fulfilling to me because like during the workshop, like I have them work with the oils and make their own blend. And like the joy, like I can see on these women's faces, like they get so excited by it and they're so happy blending and smelling everything. That brings me so much joy, just like being able to share that with them. And then the other thing is, I've been working out of like a local apothecary, taking one-on-one clients there. And that's
Ooh,
gotten me really excited lately because like I'm meeting a lot more like people that wouldn't have met otherwise. So I love that.
that's beautiful. How can people find a local apothecary? Like, how did you find that?
So I think it was fate, honestly, because last fall, like I was just walking around a town. I think my partner and I found something on Facebook Marketplace and we were going to pick it up. And so we were just walking around the town and we saw this apothecary and it was like, it's like this really cool, like modern witchy store. Like we just walked in and he was like, do you know an aromatherapist? Like to the owner. And she's like, no, but I've been looking for one. And he's like, there's one right here. So it's like ever since like she and I have been collaborating on like workshops and stuff. And I mean, I feel like it was fate, honestly.
That's amazing. He sounds like your biggest fan.
He is. Yeah, it's great.
That's fabulous. It's so good to have somebody like that in your corner, promoting you. That's a beautiful. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, I love it because he's like an outgoing social person and I'm very much like an introvert. Like I'm like I want to stay home and read my books. So it's like hard to get out there. Yeah.
That's great. So you've been working at the apothecary, seeing one-on-one clients. Is there like a marriage between what's happening at the apothecary and your aromatherapy?
I wouldn't say not so much.
No? Okay.
No.
Is that where you got interested in the herbalism?
No, I would say like I was into it on and off like throughout the years. And I just have now that it's summer, I just have more time to dedicate to it. And so like when I get into something, it's not like lightly interested. I'm like, I'm obsessed. I'm doing it every day, you know?
I get that. I get that. So because it's summer, you're not in school. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I get it. Okay. Because I was like, if you were still going to school, I mean, I don't know how you'd do it all. Mom, school, work. That's got to be hard.
It's certainly a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you have any words of wisdom for any of the other moms out there trying to do school, work, and motherhood?
Honestly, I think the thing that helps me is that I'm pursuing what I'm passionate about. And it is the aromatherapy, but also the psychology too. I get so excited by these things. I feel like it gives me energy. But
Mhm.
if I was doing something that like I wasn't passionate about, I don't think there's any way I could get through it.
And it is huge to love what you're learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who is inspiring to you? Who inspires you? And it doesn't have to be associated with aromatherapy. I mean, it could be anyone. But like when you think about your life and all the things that you're accomplishing and your passions, who is it that's inspiring you?
This is going to seem very random, but right now I feel very inspired by Gabor Mate. I've been reading his book, The Myth of Normal, and just reading about like the connections he makes between like childhood trauma and stress and chronic illness is amazing to me because I feel like people don't understand like how harmful like being in chronic stress is. And like I feel like that's an area where like aromatherapy is so supportive with stress relief. I don't know. I just love his work right now. Like I love listening to any podcasts he's on and stuff like that, and like connecting what he's doing to like the things that I'm learning and doing. So I'd say that's very inspiring and exciting.
I love Dr. Mate as well. I've read all of his books and I have The Myth of Normal behind me, ready to go, when I'm ready to sit down and tackle it, right?
It's huge. I didn't get through the whole thing yet.
Yeah, it's pretty massive. Have you read any of his other works?
No, I haven't. That's actually the first time I heard about him when I got that book, like a couple of months ago. Yeah.
The first book that I read of his was When the Body Says No. It's just about how all the emotional stuff affects the body. And then the body eventually says, I can't keep going. I'm done.
Yeah.
And then disease happens, right? MS, cancers, all these different diseases come in. And I mean, that's not the case for everyone, but I think for the vast majority of adults, it's definitely the case. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Gabor Mate. He's amazing. So the mission of Aromatic Chat is to connect you with the people who need what you have. So how can people find you and what you're doing?
They can find me at my website, which is awakenedaromatherapy.com, or on Instagram at Awakened Aromatherapy.
And if they're in the New Jersey area, can they find you at the apothecary?
They can. On Sundays, I'm at Lupa Apothecary, which is in Bernardsville, New Jersey.
Beautiful. Awesome. So how has plant medicine affected you personally? Other than, I mean, I know we've already covered the postpartum and the PMDD, but how else has plant medicine affected you personally?
I think helping me be present is a major thing. Taking herbs has helped with that as well, but like even the aromatherapy, I feel like when I'm inhaling something and engaging one of my senses, it helps me bring me back into the moment. Because there's so much going on with like work and school and my child, and like there's so many things to always be thinking about. But when I stop and I smell like a smell that I love, like one of my oils, it brings me back to now. And that's something that I try to give to my daughter as much as I can, is like my presence, because I feel like that's the most valuable thing.
So if you had a call to action for the listeners, what would that be?
I would love it if they check out my Instagram and they can send me a message there. I would be happy to talk with them or anything like that.
Thank you so much, Valentina, for coming on the podcast. I love connecting with different aromatherapists all over the world in different stages of their journey. I love that you're going to school for psychology, because that's something that I've considered going back to school for. So hearing another aromatherapist who's actually doing the thing that I've thought about is really cool. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me here.
How inspiring is Valentina? I'm not kidding. Mom, aromatherapist, budding herbalist, and student. If you're a young mom who is listening to this episode, I just want to remind you that it is possible for you to be a mom and. I remember when I was a young mom and my family was my world. Everything I did was for them. I happily existed inside my mom bubble and completely immersed myself in raising my kids. My kids became my passion. However, I have friends who are living their mom life and pursuing their joys and passions. It is possible to have it all. But it is important to remember that things do ebb and flow. This week you might be rocking that mom life, and next week pursuing a new hobby. You can do it all, but you can't always do it all at the same time, and that's okay. I hope you enjoyed this episode with Valentina Killough. I am thankful to hear that she is pursuing her passion in psychology and bringing aromatics along. Be sure to follow Valentina on Instagram, and I'll be sure to include any links mentioned in the show notes. Aromatic Chat is produced by Lemon Balm Coaching. I'm your host, Melissa, Master Transformational Coach, Registered Aromatherapist, and Certified Emotion Code Practitioner. I invite you to connect with me on the web at lemonbalmcoaching.com and Instagram at lemonbalmcoaching. I will see you next time with our next episode. Until then, peace, love, and aromatics.